Hey everyone, Chef Anthony, so glad to be here. I have the one and only James Hayes in the building.
Good morning, Chef. What's up, buddy?
That's it, one of our seasoned sales associates. So we're talking about today is the topic, most common appliance failures, human errors, things
Sure.
that, are not kind of kosher, not what we would do. So let's open it up and let's talk about some of the human errors that, common mistakes that we make.
Sure.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
we'll hit like really big ones first and maybe some more niche ones later on if we got
I like
time.
that.
So front load laundry is a big one,
Mm-hmm.
right? So how many people do you know personally or like heard in the showroom say, oh, like I don't want a front load washing machine because I had one and it smelled bad, or like I know someone that had issues with it. Generally, in a modern machine, if you're having issues with it, it's more than likely a user error somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
So there's 4 things you need to do to them.
Yeah, so writing these down, guys.
Yeah,
these
so
four
write them
things.
down.
So-
You want to make sure that A, you're leaving your door cracked open when you're not using it, because if you think about it, it's watertight, so it's airtight, and if it's wet and you shut it, the water's just going to sit in there, and yeah, that can get gross.
The moisture in there, yeah.
Yeah. Make sure you just wipe your ring out when you're done doing your laundry for the day. Make sure there's not anything sitting down inside of there. There's drainage in there now to help with that, but it's still a good idea to wipe it out. Run your regular cleaning cycles.
Absolutely.
And I have an LG set, and in the app it actually keeps track of it and reminds me, which is
A lot of them nowadays will beep and say, run the cleaning cycle
Yeah.
or run that. You know what I mean? Soap is another huge issue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether yours is load and go already and it dispenses the right amount of soap, but people are over soaping their laundry still. And that residual does leave in the barrel, goes in there, and that adds to the odor and adds to that mix.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, soap's huge.
Yeah, and you can have those issues on top loads. They're just not as noticeable. If you ever tear apart like a 6-year-old top load washing machine, you're probably going to find mold and mildew on the outside of the drum. It's just not as airtight and not as noticeable. So do it to your top load laundry.
So be better with your laundry, folks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So let's jump into the kitchen. What are some most common practices that we see?
Self-cleaning in general.
Huge, yeah. Self-cleaning is huge. This
Yeah.
is still a hot button we always talk about in the field here. You know, those racks have to be removed in the self-cleaning process. I mean, we are heating up for at least 2 to 4 hours. on
You're
the
like
self-clean,
800
right?
degrees. And in general, it's like if you think about running a stove for 2 to 4 hours at 800 degrees, it's tough on the range and oven in general.
You're right.
Yeah, it's going to be bad for your electronics, but if you leave your oven racks in there, they're going to get toasted.
Yeah.
It's
So they won't glide and slide. You know what I mean? The full extended glide racks, things like that. They'll damper. They'll warp. They won't fit in there correctly again. You know what I mean?
that is correct. Yeah.
There are a few manufacturers out there though that do not require. Who is it? Miele.
Miele, and then a couple of the GE family
Yeah,
brands.
yeah. So check your manual, talk to your salespeople, but majority of them, let's say over 80%, right?
Yeah, and it's like they have that steam clean load out now that's maybe better in some ways and not as good in others. But if we're going to be in the kitchen,
What's those?
hoods.
Yeah. Hoods are a common thing here. Even hoods in recirculating microwaves too. I mean, anything with a a vent,
Yeah.
or that vent that needs cleaned, right?
Sure. Well, there's 2 things I want to talk about. A, the cleaning aspect. Yeah, if you don't keep them clean properly, you get a buildup of grease in there, and that is actually a really easy way to cause a house fire.
Sure.
So keeping up with that, but then also making sure you're turning it on at the appropriate time. When someone says, "Hey, my hood doesn't seem like it's performing well,"
Yeah.
Chef and I know this, and but a lot of people don't. Like, you want to turn your hood on before you start cooking.
It's first practice. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Even if you turn it on low, I always tell customers it's like opening up a door or window. It creates that draft. It creates that draw of air for that pasta you're boiling or that chicken your pan frying. We want to see those hood grates and pieces get dirty. They can be ran in a dishwasher on a heavy cycle, majority of them. You know what I mean? But that's going to do 2 things. That's going to keep your cooktop or cook surface cleaner, and it's going to keep that backsplash and everything around it cleaner because it's drawing up all that vapor.
Yep, 100%. It's I don't know. What about, you got anything on dishwashers?
Oh man, do I have anything on dishwashers? So dishwashers, and I always say dishwashers are like coffee. Everybody does them a different way, but they all need cleaned. They all need properly done. I mean, if you're Mrs. Jones and you keep running that quick wash cycle and wondering why your plastics aren't drying, that is because you picked the quickest, shortest cycle. It's going to use the least amount of water, the lowest temperature, and the quickest drying. So look at your machine, really figure out all the settings and try and figure out, I want to use auto, or I want to use a heavy setting, or there's actually dedicated plastic settings in some of them, for drying purposes. That's number one. And majority of the time, number two usually for me is, what soap are we using? A lot of times they want to use liquid soap and things like that. And we don't recommend liquid detergent anymore. You know what I mean? Because it's majority of them are on the door. And once you put that detergent in, it's really just going to run down the door. Gravity takes effect. So you're wasting 50 to 60, maybe even 70% of your soap. So, look at the pods. Look for the better pods. Maybe not the most organic ones, too. The ones with our red dot or the Cascades seem to perform the best.
Okay.
Right?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And then you touched on coffee too, and that kind of falls into the cleaning aspect.
One more though. There is a triple filter in your dishwasher. Majority of them have that triple filter. You don't even know it's back there, under there. That needs to be removed. It needs to go under the sink for some water. That catches all the fine particles. Anytime you're going to break glass, anytime there's lettuce or some stuff onto those plates, so that is going to build up, and that is going to smell terrible after a while. You know what I mean? Yeah. Depending on how you run your dishwasher and whether you have a family of 4 or 6, we want to clean that out monthly. No soap in that either. Just under the sink. Get it all off, because we don't want any residual soap going down into that motor.
Yeah, true. That's where it does all the sensing to tell the dishwasher how dirty your stuff is. So if that's gross, it's going to affect performance. Mm-hmm. So
and one more. Let me give you, dishwashers are my jam. One more. Run everything on a 45-degree angle. If it's on a 45-degree angle, water's going to run off it. If it lays flat, guys, it's going to pull water. I don't care if you got the best dishwasher we sell in the world. If you put that cup flat, water's going to stay on top of it. So put everything on a 45, put it on a slant, it runs off. All right, my dishwasher rant is over. All right. James, go for something fun. All right, buddy?
So we're just going to talk about coffee real quick, because this is, coffee machines are one of those things where if you don't take care of them, it does greatly shorten your lifespan.
100%.
Yeah, so you got to run your descaling cycle. Mm-hmm. And once again, there are some brands. Miele came out with one that has auto descaling and stuff in it now that helps take some of that weight off of you. But then all of them have that brew unit in it too. And
clean the brew unit. And usually this is like a 12 to 19 minute cycle, depending on your machine. What it's going to do, there's basically, we call it the Alka-Seltzer tablet, but it's also
the scaler?
Yeah,
descaler. I don't even know what it's made out of. I just buy them and put them in. So.
Yeah, but it's just going to break down all the hard water, all the pieces on the guts inside of your machine. Really like an Alka-Seltzer tab. Scrub it, clean it, and get it running for the next few hundred cups, okay?
Yeah, and then, real quick, ice machines, same exact thing. Yeah. So, your ice machine, if you buy one, especially everyone likes these new Nugget ice machines, and they're great. I will tell you that Nugget ice machines absolutely require regular maintenance. If you don't do the maintenance, it will ruin the machine, and the cost of repair is usually between $3,000 to $4,000 on a machine that you spent $5,500 for.
Yeah, that's going to run all the time too. That ice maker,
nonstop.
It's really going to build up, and you're going to see cloudy ice. You're going to see a little bit of lint and things like that, because it still runs that compressor. It still runs that air through it and things like that. It's really going to be something that needs service too, and it happens. I mean, you want to use these products, you want to use them fully. We're wrapping up here in the studio. James, thanks for being here, man.
Thanks for being here, Chef.
Wealth of knowledge over here. Check us out at donsappliances.com, and we thank you guys for everything.